soother, but I'm gonna get rid of my soother very shortly. So if you guys don't know me, my name is Bourgon. Most people call me the barber. So I've been in WFG for the last 4 years. Really enjoying it. A little bit about my story. So I come from a background of 3 generations of barbers, right? And I took over from my dad when I was 20 years old. Yeah, 20 years old back in '97. The reason for is because my father had a disease that required him not to be able to work anymore, right? So I took over. Dad was a very, very hard worker, enjoyed his job. But again, I mean, he was self-employed and didn't really have a backup plan, right? Didn't have no disability insurance or any of that type of stuff. So what ended up happening is that whenever I took over, well, I figured, you know what? I said, Dad made a great living at this. I'm sure I'll be able to make a great living at this also. And thank God I came back from Ottawa to Cornwall because I met my lovely wife, Julie. We've got 2 beautiful girls. Life's great. But then I started having some physical limitations. So my shoulders and my elbows are a little bit basically done. So we were actually actively looking for something. This is about 4 years ago. And then coincidentally, I got a phone call, or I think it was a Facebook message. I can't remember. I think it was Facebook. It was Anthony Knox. I'm out of the Cornwall team. So team.com, we rock. Anyhow, so Tony, I didn't really know Tony, and he's like, hey, listen, I know your neighbors. I want to show you what I'm doing. I want to get your opinion and feedback on it. And if it makes sense, you can potentially send some people my way. You think you can help me out with that? I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. So it took about 8 months before we actually got to sit down. So fortune's in a follow-up, okay, guys? So, excuse me. So it took us about 8 months, and then when we actually got to sit down, we were sitting down I'm like, listen, I said, my wife is busy watching her shows, okay, so she doesn't want to hear about it, but if you want to come and sit down with me, you come sit down with me while I'm drinking beer, smoking cigarettes in my garage. How's that sound? He's like, yeah, fine. So it was a one-legged appointment, right? So it took him about 3 appointments. I went to 2 open houses. I went to the NAV Center. No, not the NAV Center. It was the Ramada Inn. I think it was one of our first big events that we had for our Cornwall team. And I was basically sold. I was sold. So Adam Lancaster came and did the follow-up, and everything's pretty much a distant memory now. So I can't believe it's been 4 years already. So I want to tell you guys a little bit of a story. Now my topic, well, first of all, I want to thank the whole leadership and everybody for making this possible. This is vision stretching for everybody. I want to thank my team. I mean, there's no I in team. This is the team belt here. So I want to thank my team. I want to thank my wife for putting up with me and for putting up with the late nights when I come home and the early mornings when I can't get up because I'm too tired. But anyhow, a little bit of a story here. My topic is, are you treating WFG like a business or a hobby? So growing up, my brother and I, we were big into boxing, okay? My parents loved boxing. Our first fight that we actually seen was, I don't know, for those of you who are a little older, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler. It's the first time I seen a fight. I wasn't there live, but I seen it on TV, right? And I fell in love with it. My brother and I fell in love with it. So we used to box with our oven mitts. But oven mitts hurt. Okay, so then my parents ended up buying us boxing gloves for Christmas one year, and then we were hitting each other harder, and no, that wasn't good. We got the boxing gloves taken away from us. But, so my brother and I, we actually did this as a hobby. We loved it because, you're moving, you're swinging, you're doing all sorts of fun stuff. I sparred a couple times. I realized that I had a glass jaw, so I figured, okay, well, the bag doesn't hit back. So this was a hobby for us. We did it because we loved it. We didn't do it for a living or any of that type of stuff. Now, my nephew, Maximus, very powerful name, Maximus Bourgon. So at 7 years old, he found the love for boxing like we did. So we used to have a punching bag at home, and Max would just swing and punch, and we brought him to the boxing club. This is before I started working with WFG. We brought him to the boxing club, and he loved it. And George Lewis, who was the boxing coach there, he was like, listen, he told my brothers, like, Rob, if this kid's not serious, like if he's disruptive, then we're not gonna, like, he can't stay. So he was 7 years old. So he wasn't getting punched or anything like that. He was just hitting the bag, just learning the techniques, right? So he's 13 now, okay? Max, at 7 years old, decided that he wanted to qualify and fight for the 2024 Olympics and fight for us, for our country, right? So at the 2024 Olympics, I think he'll be, what, 24, should he? 25, something like that. So he'll be right in his prime, okay? So this kid, from 7 years old to 13 now, he's been going and boxing 5 days a week. I mean, there's a lot of things that he has to do, right? So he's got a diet. He's got to go and he's got to fight, right? He's got to practice. He's got to skip. He's got to do a bunch of stuff, just like what we have to do in our business, okay? So we get punched, we get knocked down, right? We have to train. We have to train ourselves as individuals to take that type of adversity. Not just that, but there's a lot of working parts in our business that if you treat it like if you really, really want to treat it like a business, and you're telling yourself you want all these great things, well, you know what? Like you have to do what Max is doing. Don't do like what Chris and Rob did. We were just doing this as a hobby, the whole boxing thing, just to get in shape. But Max has got a goal to get into the 2024 Olympics. So now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm 41 years old. I am, I have some delusions, of course, just like some of us. There's a lot of things that we tell ourselves that we kind of let ourselves off the hook. But I tell myself, I'm like, man, if this 13-year-old can actually put a commitment into this boxing, right? 7 to 13 years old, he's put this commitment in, okay? So then why in the heck can't I put a commitment into doing what I love here, Like pretty soon I'm not gonna be able to do my job at the barbershop, all right? So when I was doing this, when I was thinking about my talk today, I really, what I love about this is that you get to learn a lot about yourself whenever you're going through your topic. You learn a lot, and you learn a lot about yourselves, and then a lot of times you got to give yourself a kick in the butt and say, okay, well, you got to get things done. So again, I'm asking you, like, are you a part-time boxer? Are you just doing WFG just to, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong in boxing or doing WFG just as a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want it to be your life, if you want to succeed in our business, well then, don't treat it like a hobby. Treat it with the respect it deserves. Do you think that do you think that when he trains, and he's had like 25 fights under his belt, by the way, okay? Do you think that he doesn't train before he gets into a fight? Holy jumping, man. Like, he's got to train hard to actually prepare himself for these fights, right? So I'm asking you, like, are you running the system? Are you reading your scripts, memorizing your scripts? Are you doing the day-to-day operations you got to do in our business? So emails, outstanding requirements, there's all sorts of stuff. So I challenge you, if you're telling yourself that you want to treat your business like a business and you want to succeed here, well, damn it. And I'm talking to me here too. It's not just you guys, it's myself. Then, get in there, train, do what you need to do. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's no fun getting punched, right? But the reward, look at this front table. The reward is so great. at the end. So I want to take the time to thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great event, and let's not get knocked out.